In our last video, we have seen prop drilling and how we have overcome that issue with the help of context. Okay, and now in this video, we will understand what is Redux and the issues what we have with the context we can resolve with the help of Redux. So it's the best suitable things for the large enterprise applications. So whenever you have heard this term Redux, right, it comes with the one term like a store. Okay, Redux Store we usually say it. Okay, what does Redux Store means? So to understand it, Redux Store is one source of proof which holds your complete application data. Okay, this holds your complete application data, and each component throughout the application can get that data, and which will be always updated. And how they will get data? With the help of some selector, use selector. So definitely it will small time it will take to understand properly, but yeah, once we keep moving, we will understand each and everything. So for now, you need to only understand Redux Store is one single source of data or single uh, source of truth which holds your complete application data. Okay, and your all the components can reach to that store and get the data. Okay, so just understand only one concept now. Okay, now it have another things which are action and reducer. So you understand what is store. Okay, another two things are action and reducer. So let's say if you have to update the data, so the store, you know, store have the data, right? So if you need to update the data which we have in a store, you cannot directly update that data. Okay, so you need one medium. Okay, that medium is going to update the data for you, which is nothing but reducer. Okay, and reducer will not update the data automatically, right? We need to tell him when to update the data. So the way, the process what we use in React Redux to tell the reducer like I need to update this data in this way is done by the help of action. Okay, so these are the three things. One is the action, one is the reducer, one is the store. Now let's understand this with the example of given above, right? You will able to connect it with your Redux real-time examples. Okay, it is exactly similar what we are doing in this place. Your bank, let's say whatever bank it is, ICICI or SBI, your bank is a store. Okay, and bank counter or the person who sits here will be the controller. Okay, and the person customer, right? Or like we consider ourselves as a customer. Okay, I have to deposit, let's say 500 rupees to the bank. Okay, bank already have like what is my current balance. Let's say my current balance is 1000 and now I am depositing 500 more rupees to my bank. Okay, what I will do, I will go to my cashier, right, and I will put one slip. Okay, add 500 rupees and I'll he will deposit for me, correct? So this person is the one who is actually going to do the work, and once he do his work, then automatically that amount will be reflected properly in a bank, and when I will open my net banking or something, I will see the updated balance. Okay, similar thing, customer will not directly go into bank and put 500 rupees there and he expect like my balance will be updated. It won't work like that way. So we definitely need a one bank counter or one cashier who do the works for you. So from here what we understand, right, customer is nothing but our component. Okay, it will request something, it will do some, it will ask for performing some action with the help of a dispatch. So we use this term dispatch. Okay, we are dispatching one action like add 500 rupees. Then reducer is the one who is actually going to work on that action. Okay, and he will add that 500 rupees to my existing 1000, and now my updated balance is 1500. And once he updates, then store will be updated with the latest updated value. And in my net banking website, in my UI, I will see the amount as a 1500. React exactly works similar. Okay, now we will see the real-time example, then you will understand it very clearly. So in my code, I have created same three items. One is my action, one is my reducer, and one is the store. Okay, so let me see first the store. So you see, right, store is nothing, it is just having the information. So with Redux, right, we will get a create store method, and this is just a store. We will understand it very lastly, like here we creating that store and passing the reducer here, and simply we are returning it. Okay, so this is our store. Then we have one reducer which will do the actual work. Okay, and we will be have the action. Okay, so we will ask like we need to add an employee, delete an employee. We are going to give the actions from here. Reducer is going to change, update that action, and store will be updated. So that is what it is going to work. So I am going to run my application. So this is my Redux application. Okay, so it is very simple application. Okay, this is one form where I will put the employee name and his department. I am going to add it, and it will display it here. Okay, and these all values are coming from the Redux, the single source of data. Okay, from that place, and it can be used throughout the application. It's nothing related to component. This data is coming from a global place and can be used throughout the application. Okay, now to understand now more detailed, I'll go to first app.tsx file. Okay, it is very simple thing. What is there in this application? One is header, which is like Redux employee management. Okay, if you see this, it is nothing, Redux employee management. And then we have the add employee, which is where I have the form. Okay, I will be having one employee name, I will be having one department, and on click of employee, I need to add that employee to the React store. Okay, and in the below part, what I am doing is I am having one employee list grid. Okay, which will give me all the items, all the employees present in my store. Okay, these all values are coming from me from the store. So this is how our application will look like. So you see the code is very minimum here, right? In that app.tsx, one is just the header. Okay, and add employee, we have something like a small form. On click of add, I'll tell you how it will the value update into the store. But what we are doing on click of add, we are going to update the value in a store. Who will update the value? Reducer will update the value. Okay, I'll come to that part after that. And in the third place, what we are doing, simply we are getting all the values from the our store and displaying it in case of employee list. Okay, just we are looping it and we are displaying all the values here. So it is very clear, right? Now overall understanding we got it. Okay, so we are reading a data which can be used throughout the application. It is not a component specific, and we are reading the data from the store. We have the ability, we can update the value into the store also with the help of reducer. And to tell reducer like I need to update data or I need to delete data, we need to do one action. Okay, now our first part is action. Okay, so where we are performing action here, we have entered some details here, Suresh, and department, let's say IT or UI. Okay, I'm just adding it. It went to my store. Okay, so I perform the action here, right? Add employee. So if I go to my add employee component, what I'm doing, whenever we are clicking on the add employee, I'm calling this add employee method. Here I'm taking the name and department. Okay, and here I took one type of employee, which is like ID, name and department. Okay, now I am telling to reducer, okay, like add the employee, okay, and this will be the values I need to pass. Okay, so this is an action. Okay, so this dispatch, right? This dispatch is Redux is providing as a method useDispatch. Okay, and we are just adding into one const, and then we are calling that method, and then your next question will be what it is. What is this add employee? Okay, passing this employee data, which will be the recent data, we are passing to this add employee, but where this add employee comes from. Okay, this add employee we have wrote into the actions, employee action. It comes from employee action. So action have always two properties. One is the type, it could be any name. Okay, add employee, it will be a string and it can be anything. We can create n number of actions. So in the case, in our example, whenever we are going to click on the add employee, we created one action. To that action, in a type we given one name, which is add employee. It is going to be a string. You can add any name here. Okay, and payload is what you are passing from your dispatch. Okay, in add employee you are passing this, right, employee, your current values data. Okay, you are passing here your employee, which is going into the payload. Similarly, once you click on the delete, also you are doing one action, right? So when in employee list, not in employee list, employee items, when you click on the delete, again you are doing the same thing. Dispatch, with the help of useDispatch, you are passing, you are calling this delete employee method. Okay, and in this case we are sending the complete object. In this case we are just sending the ID for the comparison logic, because this is already available to us. We are just sending the ID. So up to here we understand what is the actions. Okay, it is clear. And for this actions we just defined one type, this type is string and this payload is employee type, and for the case of delete, this is type is string again and this payload is number, and we are simply exporting these two actions. So this file is very understandable, actions part. Now what happens is, whenever you perform the actions, our reducer, right? So our reducer contains two things. One is the initial state, okay, and which actions, and another one is actions. Okay, initial state is something like that. We can see here, we already given some values into initial state, John and David. That's why you initially see these two items. Okay, John and David. Let me reload it. So you are seeing John and David, two items. These are my initial state. Okay, you can keep it empty or you want to keep any value, it is up to you. So this is my initial state. We need to pass to the reducer, and then we need to pass the action. These actions we have to import from our employee action ts file. Okay, now we have two categories of employees actions currently, right? One action type is this action dot type we have kept as a string is add employee. One is delete employee. Whenever user clicked on the add employee, we are passing the updated values from this form, and it will come to our reducer here. It will come to that action type and it will do, and it holds the current state, right? Whatever the state it is having, we are updating that one with the new value. Okay, and in case of delete, similarly what we are doing is, we hold whatever the current state value, we are filtering, we are passing the ID, right? In the case of delete, and based on that one we are filtering, and we are updating here the state. So this process, right, and we are simply returning the updated state. Okay, so this process is done by reducer. Okay, reducer is responsible for updating the values in a state now. So from your UI you have wrote very simple code like dispatch, which action you have to perform, and you are passing the payload. Reducer will take that initial state or current state, it will perform whatever the action told by you, and it will return the updated state. Okay, this is the work of reducer. And store is nothing but simply the employee reducer you have created, right, it holds the updated value. Now one more place in main.tsx file, this is our starting file, right? We already discussed this in our previous videos. What we are doing from the Redux, we are importing the provider, and in a provider we are getting the store value from the Redux store. So this contains all the updated value which we are passing throughout the application. This is our main component. Now in this main component, how context is available from the provider in last video, similarly store values will be available to each component from here. Okay, so now we understood what is store, what is reducer, what is action. What is remaining now is like we know how to perform the action, right? How to ask reducer to update the value by add employee and by click on the delete. Okay, it will update the state, and it will reflect into the UI by the store. Now one thing is remaining. Initially we are getting this value, right? To get the values, we have to use a useSelector from the React Redux. Okay, for event we will use dispatch, and for getting the value from the store we use a method called useSelector. Okay, with the help of useSelector, what will happen, it will give us the current state. Okay, what is the current state? Employee state, right? So if you go back to your reducer, so whatever your current state, like it will come in this form, complete state. We are returning here, right? This is our state. You will get the updated values in this way, right? So simply the same thing in case of employee list, with the help of useSelector you are getting the updated state which is of type employee state, and from there we are taking the employees and we are looping and displaying the values in our UI, and these values will be automatically updated whenever there is a change into the actions by the actions. Okay, hope this is very clear now. Now we can discuss one more thing here. We'll come back to our previous image. So from the components we have done the actions. Reducer is the one who updated our state, and once the state is updated, store holds it and rendered the UI with the latest. That is how the Redux works. Okay, now in our so I told, right, we are going to cover in next videos RDT, Redux Development Kit. Okay, and we will be having a just 10, that is another Redux store. So we have couple of Redux store into the market. So the one which I shown you is the default one. Okay, it got deprecated in very recently. Okay, so if we still want to use by using legacy create store, we are using this method. It got deprecated, but why I explained you, right? Because to understand RDT and just 10, right, if you know internally how a Redux work, right, what is all these methods, right, action, reducer, store, dispatch, useSelector, this is important. But the good thing is the complexity what we are seeing here are got removed in RDT or a just 10. Those are also the new Redux stores. In those cases you no need to write all these actions separately, reducer separately. It is very easy setup going forward. So we will discuss them in our next video. Now lastly I'll go through this whole flow which will make you understand it if something confusion is still there, it may be cleared with the help of this. Okay, so this kind of applications we just have seen a demo, right? This will be our component, then we are adding, and then employee with department will be displayed here. On deleting add employee, we are updating our store. Here this is the flow. Basically, when a React component dispatch in action, okay, in this action their object contains two things. One is your payload, one is your type. Reducer will check what action we performed, okay, from all the available actions, and based on that one it will change the data, okay, as per requirement. And once the data is updated and return the state, updated state will be stored by the Redux, which is a single source of data. And once this is updated, we are seeing the same updated value in our UI. This is how the Redux work. In next video we will be covering the RDT, okay, which is going to be more easier than as compared to this. Hope this understand this will help you to understand it. Yeah, we will meet in next video. Thank you.